Let's continue on Hillchos Tzedakah. Mitchum will go afterwards to Hillchos Kesefim. Now we're going to get to, we said already how much we need to give. Bainani gives a Maser, Ein Toiv gives a Chomish, and all the halachas when you have to give. So now there's a halacha shichanurach also, there is keduma in chalikas tzedakah. That means a person has the right and has the mitzvah to give. There's a chalika who comes first and who comes afterwards. And this is a shayla was macht excited. A person has less tzedakah X amount of money. Now he has a friend, he has a cousin, he has an uncle, he has family members. Zukt shtayt shichanurach that there is dargas where it goes, when to go, who's to give. Now a person has a right to give tzedakah for a korav, a cousin, somebody who's close to him, before other aniyim. Even though the other aniyim might be more poor, and your cousin is not that poor, that means one guy, the one oni will need even food, and your cousin will need clothing. Again, I'm talking about clothing and food because that's basically what the Shechanor talks about. So clothing is a person which has a little bit more than food he has. He doesn't have basically clothing. So even if that guy is more poor, you have a right to give for your cousin, for your korav, before the other guy. And not only that, it is a mitzvah to give to a korav before other oni. And even if the other oni is a Talmud Chacham, it means you have one oni which is a Talmud Chacham, and your cousin is not a Talmud Chacham, but since it's your cousin, there is an Indian to give for them tzedakah koydem. Now, what is the Sidra Kedima? So, Shtayt Shechenorach, Simmer Reish in Aleph, Siv Gimel. The Sidra Gimel goes like this. The first, his parents. If he has parents which are indeed, so they need money, the first thing you have to give for your parents. Because that the closest relative which you have is your parents, and therefore for your parents, you give the first one. Then goes your Rebbe, if he is a Chochem. That means he's a Rebbe who learns you Torah, that's the number 2. Number 3 goes, Bonav ibnoisav hagdoilem. Children which are gdoilem, which you want to support them, you want they should have a living, you want they should be able to survive. That's the number 3 which you should give. Some Achronim say in the same category is also grandchildren. Same category as born of Benois Vagdoilem. Then fourth cheshm, the fourth darge is grandfather. That means your children born of Benois Vagdoilem come before your grandfather. Then comes your brother from a sibling, which is basically from one father. In the Shechanor Shtayt, sibling, a brother, which is one father, but the Achronim write that the same is also as a sister, if it is from the first one father, there are the next. The next stage is sibling, which are from one mother, not from one father. One mother is a lower darge. Even we see in the Torah, you're not mechiv to sit shiva on them, on the siblings which are only from your mother, not from your father. With the Rabbunan, you are mechiv, but akabunim midah Torah nish. So we see there are, so to speak, less kroivim to yourself. Therefore, that's afterwards. That's the number 6. Then comes shar kroivim. Then comes other relatives. And by shar kroivim, there's no kedima. There's no kedima to shar kroivim. So again, when a person has X amount of money, and he has a parents, or a grandparents, or a rebbe, or brothers, they are coming before other need. Some people, charity begins at home. This is basically what the saying which comes. Charity begins at home. First, start with this. Now, relatives is also shtayt in Tzedakah Mishpat. Relatives is also considered relatives from your wife. And that's why it's also apart from your kroivim. And another thing is very interesting. When we say kshar kroivim, comes before other aniyim, you know who else is a part of Shar Kroivim? Your ex. Your ex-wife is also Shar Kroivim. So I guess it also steht in the Poskim, also steht in the Schachbeitze gibt es so, that Bechlal Kroivim goes your ex, darf to game before someone else. Go tell it for the, yeah. A Kaponam, so when it comes to Kroivim, then everybody is leveled, you could decide whom you want to give. If you have two brothers, or two which are in the same category, one is a Talmid Chacham and one is not, the Talmid Chacham comes first. When you have a sister from one father and a brother from one father, and you can only give for one person, the lacha is you should give for your sister before you give for your brother, because we know that when it comes to pidyon shvuim, somebody is Rahman Laslan in a shevi, he's kidnapped or captive. A man comes before a lady. Why? Because a man has more mitzvahs, more mechiba mitzvahs, so therefore he comes before a lady. But when it comes to give tzedakah, you have two people who goes for tzedakah. One is one is a lady, one is a man. You cannot give for both. Happens to be you don't have for both. Then a lady comes first. And the reason is why? Because the shame is much bigger when a lady goes collecting money than a man. A man is used to already collect money. Women are not used to collecting money. Although you have a lady which is going collecting now. She comes begging on the door. We should know, but even though the concept that a woman should go around begging for money is much a bigger bisha, and therefore a lady comes before. So that when you have a sibling, one is a brother, one is a sister, you cannot give for both, your sister comes before your brother. Now it goes further. Shchainam, a shochan, a neighbor, comes before other people of Anshair. Yeah, you have one dollar which you could give. The neighbor comes first. Then comes.
What does that mean nowadays?
In nowadays means you have a shochan, you know that they are struggling for money, for yontov, and there's in town another oni which is also struggling for money. You cannot give for both.
On your street or next to your house?
Shochan means a shochan means lavavka next to your house, but it means one is which lives right next to you. It's got Yishan the Geder fin from dealing about Metzra. Somebody who lives right next to you, is it a house next to you, or next to Kimt is far behind which is in town there's a need. Now again, if you have more than one, you have to give for andere. But Agaponan, a Shuchan heißt auch a gewisse Kurov, therefore it comes before. Toishvai Kingston comes before Toishvai Wansi. Because you live in the Toishvai Ir, we learned in the Chibishonashe. Toishvai Ir comes before Toishvai Iracheres. Toishvai Etzisrul comes before Toishvai other states. That means if you're not Toishvai Man Ir Kamivim, but once you got out of your Ir, is Toishvai Ir Etzisrul more than Toishvai, if you want to give for Argentina, Ir. When you want to give for Etzisrul, Etzisrul comes before, and the Samsoifa like Tzi, interesting Kiddush. Chamsoifer rises very, very loose, and he pumped a lot on this Kiddush. Toish Yerushalayim comes before Toish all other Etzisrol. So giving for Etzisrol, the Kippur Tzeduk Yerushalayim comes before.
So if I have $1,000 to give to Tzedakah, just giving it all to Toish Year?
You don't have. No, it means if you cannot give, you have a limited amount which you could give, and you have in your you could give over here. Let's say there's you give toish for Ania over here, and then you could give for whom you want.
And like for me, would die a little bit. So I have, let's say, $1,000 to give, but it's going to the mikvah or going to the shul.
We're going to get to shul's mikvah. We're going to get. We are talking now kroivim. We are going to get to Stigeh HaTzeduk. Yeah. Again, we're going to get. Wait a minute. The next slide is going to be. Now we spoke about the not the suge tzedukah. I talked about the kroivim. A person is so the gegeder. So now we're going to get to the next step, and we're going to see. Depends on tzibur, depends on yuchid. We're going to get it. I'm just trying to get minadar. Yeah. So now.
Let's say kroivim that live in another city.
Again. A korov comes from somewhere else. Your korov comes before only of your city. Because a korov. Now,
your city come before a korov of every city?
Yes, that's a niyah. Because he has two. He has a korov and also a niyah. Okay, now we spoke about kedima b'chalikas tzedukah. Whom to give. Now I want to talk about sigei tzedukah. What kind of tzedukah? And we're going to see not everything applies to yochid and everything applies to law. We're going to see. Let's just go through that. Now the same thing as we just mentioned, there's kedima for whom to give, which I want to give for somebody who comes first. There's also sigei tzedukah, which comes before something else, which goes like this. The first thing is pidyon shvuah. If you have a person with shvui, that's the first thing. Pidyon shvuah is the chosh tzedakah, which is the biggest tzedukah, and you gotta give money over there.
Your community?
What?
Even out of your community?
Eat of our community. But again, we're going to see a minute. Let me make that do beforehand. Whatever we said just now, that you could give your cousins, your family, your parents, this goes only on a yuchid. That means this goes on a yuchid. A person which has money, he has tzedukah, he could give it for, and he should give it for this goes to kroivim. That's a gabay tzedukah, if there is kippas tzedukah, kippas seir, whatever there is, Kingston Community Fund cannot give, even when the gabay tzedukah has a brother or parent which needs tzedukah, they're not koidim than somebody else. A person himself, which has a schis, who has master geld, who wants to give, so he gives for his family first. That all the cider which we just said before, who comes first, who comes afterwards, there's only a personal level. I have tzedukah. I can give it for my cousin first, for my father first, for my sibling first, because Chaba gives it in it. But when it comes a Kingston's tzedukah fund, and even the person who's the gabay tzedukah, that has no shaykhs with you. It's a tzedukah fund, and there's no kedima of such a oni closeness. There's no kruv. But over here comes in the second part, which we're going to learn now. Over here, what should the tzedukah fund give first? They have $10,000 in tzedukah fund. What is the chaylik? How do you give it first up? You can't give it kroivim. Kroivim is nicht kashayches do. What kind of suga tzedukah, which only applies for a tzibur, for a kippah tzedukah. When it comes to my personal, which I said before, which is also mentioned, personal money, my master geld, I have a schus to give my father, even before Pidyon Shvuah, even before what we're going to learn now. Ich habe a schis in dem geld. I have a teufels in dem geld. So therefore, since you have teufels in dem geld, you should decide on your priorities. Your priorities should be your father, your zayda, your children. This is how you should develop. And when it comes to kippah tzedukah, has nothing to do with zaydas babas, even the gabay tzedukah. But when we're talking about the siga tzedukah, it applies only to tzibur. It doesn't apply to me. So a kippah tzedukah has money. How should they give it? How should they give it out? Do keep around the halachas. And so the first thing is tzedukah for pidyon shvuah. That's the most important.
Pidyon shvuah apply to legal funds. Someone's fighting a court battle.
Pidyon shvuah is a little bit interesting. A little bit. Today's day, pidyon shvuah is a ganze shala if it goes into that category. Because pidyon shvuah today's day is when today's jails are not 5-star hotels. Not 5-star hotels, but at least 2-star, 3-star hotels. Since nobody gets killed over there, so to speak. After Rikers Island, yeah. Huh? We have over here in Chaplin. It's not true.
He visits people.
Yeah, but because they have fights. It's not. They have fights. If you behave over there, there's no. I don't recall all the years I Yid gestorben dort in Twisa. So therefore, is the Poistgemotion gerät of gewisse Sachen of, does it go into Geder Pidyon Shvuah or not? Like aber andere Nunem, ich will nicht lang an jetzt name. If so Pidyon Shvuah is a little bit interesting, but what does it mean Pidyon Shvuah? For instance, again, today's day, I don't know how much is applying. I used to apply, a Puretz took a family because they didn't pay rent, yeah? or somebody kidnapped, the mafia kidnapped a person and they asked for ransom. All these things, that's Pidyon Shmir. The what?
The Palestinians.
Yeah, so, but again, if you're asking me, somebody has stole money and he was corrupted and he has a court case, darf man dann sagen, du gehst daran, die Pidyon Shmir oder nicht. Nochmals, Tzedukah is a sicher, no question about it. Help naid, even when he's schuldig, is halt Tzedukah. But as he's going before something else, that's something else. Now, B'chorim haben ganz verschadelich about them. Second thing is, sending children to learn Torah. Then you have children which basically parents cannot afford paying the tuition, and there's a dranzachim of the gas. The second thing after Pidyon Shmir is you should help make a fund that should help parents to be able to send their children to Cheder. That's number 2.
To what age?
The what?
To what age?
Jeden is alone in Torah with going in any age. In the age of Master Tzedukah, you should give for your master. That's not in Hilchas Tzedukah is even sending a bacher in yeshiva. You're sending
He's already 18.
yeah, and he wants to go in yeshiva, wants to learn.
Without the money, he's not.
But I want to not going to, and he's going to nicht sich drehen auf the gas. This is a guy. This might schicken Kinder of lernen Torah.
The parents can't afford it. The thing of taking him out, so here's the money.
Yeah. And the same level will be aniyam, choylem aniyam. Poor people which are sick, and they don't have who should take care of them, giving for them tzedakah, that's in the second level, the same as sending children to Talmud Torah. The same level is also poor people which have no food, ra'ayvim in arimim, which again, I don't think today's day there is such a concept, but only which has mamash no food, mamash no clothing, that's all in the second category after Pidyon Shmir. Third category is to give money for girls, they should be able to marry off. They should be able to chasnom. And that is a tzedukah which is kedima l'rav chasanim. That means you have anim which have food, but Rav chasanim paying off for Yisroim, they should be able to get, for girls should be able to marry off, hachnosis kala, comes before Rav chasanim. That's bepashtus. The shach likes to know. The shach thinks it.
Between a chassan and a kala?
Dafka akala. Talk now akala. Dafka akala.
Because of nothing, even though we don't do that now?
No, because again, a girl to marry, guy in tzedukah is much more. She cannot. A man could give him better. The shach will besuchen that to say that it's more preference than Rav chasanim. It's not true. Only if this girl is also a Yisoima. If it's a Yisoima and she's a Oni, then she comes before Rav Chasaniyah. So that's the third category. Rav Chasaniyah means an Oni which is poor, but he has the Revucha. The Revucha, you should have a little bit more. Yeah.
But does that come before your community? Haknosas Kala, does it become before your community?
Again, we are now talking of the Gabbat Tzedukah. Let me make it clear. Before we spoke, where you want to give. That's one thing. Now we're talking about Shmuel Cassius has a Kippah Tzedukah, for instance. Kingston Community Fund. Now the community, what should they give first? What should they give? They don't have that much money. It's not, it's not yet run by Satmar Chassidim. So there's still, So now, what should you do? You have a lot of people. The Rabbi Shalom is on the Shan. Shouldn't be applicable this. But how do you want to do? Then, Gabbat Tzedukah, you know what? This is how we should give. This is the level I should give. No, again, nicht alle Sachen ist the guy, but if we mention Tzedukah, I want to go through, we should understand the concept. What?
You said in the first day, Toish Ve'ir means to give to the local kupo, which is going to deal.
Now, Toish Ve'ir is going to deal. We are talking now what the Toish Ve'ir, the Gabbat Tzedukah of the Eir, how we should divide this tzedukah.
Individual, at what point should they be giving to the Gabbat Tzedukah over the Yochid?
He has a Toivus Hanua, a Yochid has a Toivus Hanua to give for whatever he wants. That's a klal.
So
he has Toivus Hanua.
Is the Gabbat Tzedukah for him?
What?
First he has to give the craving, then
that's, yeah.
At what point should he be giving to the Gabbat Tzedukah?
Once his family are Mesidr, once he goes to all those things, the next dargi is, as I mentioned before, Shai Kroivim, then comes a kur of koidim. That's the Lushna Gemara. A kol a kur of koidim. After your Kroivim are all fine. Then Allah Baruch Hashem. So now you give the Gabbat Tzedukah. And the Gabbat Tzedukah has his chayivim how to divide it. So we have our Tovizanu what I can do with the money. But once I give it for the Gabbat Tzedukah, I put it into the Pishka, the community Pishka. Now there's a guy who divides it. Now comes this halacha how to divide it.
What happens nowadays is a lot of communities that there are many guys but they're each there's 15 guys there, each one wants to make fun.
Oh, do that man so now we get there. We're going to, that's the exact. You have somebody who collects Shvim, he's number first. Very good. That's the.
Do this also if you're gonna. If not I'm older was one.
Once it is out of you want to give for the community, and there's no your kroim are finished. Now you give what is the most important thing? What's the beginning is Shvim. The most second. So that okay. So then I said when we mentioned Yisoima, a girl which doesn't have to marry off. Then comes giving for a shul, giving for Abbas HaKnesses. And this comes before Ochad Ravches Aniyim. Yeah? Machloikas. Others say no, it doesn't. But there's a catch to it. Zukt of them the poiskam, whatever we say that to give for a shul comes before Ravches Aniyim, that means you are in a town, you move to Kingston, there isn't yet any shul, you're davening in one basement this week, next week in the other basement, and the shul has to have a basic knesset, that's the halacha. This comes before Ravches Aniyim. But if you have a shul, and you want to make another shul, you want to give, you have a shul, and you want to open a new shul, das gibt nicht Ravches, das gibt nicht Fade alle Sachen, because it's not neat. It's not, if you give for it, what?
If there's not enough space.
Then what?
Then it's considered like actually.
That means, okay, fine. But no, we technically have one shul, you want to say that, we have one shul, you don't have space. Okay, so you have to build a bigger shul. Aber zu sagen, das kommt lieber Ravches Aniyim, darf man da sein. Kann sein, dass es kommt ein Schlaf, that it's impossible to down because the community grew so much, you need a new shul. Yes, that goes in that category. But other than that, just because you want to have more space, sucht Ravo sucht es in der Chiva, ganz ehrliches, das aber der kommt nicht Ravches Aniyim. Bei der Knesset meint, der Bohnen bei der Knesset in Stiv, in Medrsh. Building a mikveh, what?
If it's too many people for the fire department.
Okay, that's something else. Okay, that's something else. But don't think that Sheni buys now a new building, it comes before Aniyah. That's not. That's not.
Not enough space in the other schools to hold everybody.
Then it's going into the category if a person now again, if you have a shul but now it's full and there are people who cannot come to shul because it's full, there's no place, it's packed. Dus heißt, dass in der Shul nicht Platz. Das ist anders. Das meint.
Then you put in category.
Then you put it in that category.
There is no chiddushing, not everyone fits here.
Ich habe nicht gemeint, ich meine, the concept. I'm just,
That's a real thing. So
a real thing, okay. In order to, but it's nicht beschadet, dass es do, when you have a shul and it exploded, the Menschen können nicht kommen, you make a shul, bis die gerecht kann sein. Aber nicht, happens to be, if I have to give now money, es ist nur a shul. Es ist nur a shul, es ist nur noch a shul. Ich soll kaufen, was will kaufen, a binyan, das geht nicht daran, geht die Frage, was ist Zivir. Das ist fein.
There's people who don't come to shul because it's too squished. People who don't come.
Because there's no place.
There's no place.
So ich, das kann ran in der Gede, ob ich das Achayid, wenn sie kommen, was ist diese Quetsch, and sie können nicht kommen, oder like you said, the fire department will not let you in, das heißt, dass der Zibber darf aber es Medisch. Das meint, der Zibber darf aber es Medisch. Then to expand, Beis Moshe will have to give, even before Rav Chasanim, yeah. So you have now the Pesach there. But if there is a shul, I want to buy another shul, Zies ist also more geschmacker, es ist more uncomfortable, oder man kann mehr schmissen. You know? What? Nein, das ist nicht, no, that's not. Why? Huh?
Yes, it's not also part of the cheshbon.
What?
Yes, it's not also part of the cheshbon that I need to expand now.
No. As is also an issue. We're going to see it. As is notion because there's no mitzvah they should come in shul. They can stay home. We're going to see like Ma'aser, like buying a seat for the women. They in the kid. Mikveh to build a mikveh. Doing the poskim. This is even far Talmud Torah. But a lady's mikveh. Aber doing the achroinam. As it depends. If you already have a mikveh and you want to make it bigger or you want to make it nicer, then it doesn't come for sending, that means the second category of sending children to Talmud Torah. But if it is a mikveh, which is a zame mikveh, which there is no mikveh, or Sidu Froen, Nushim Tzitkunis, was well nicht geheine mikveh, in such a mikveh, in the Chaz V'Shulam, the nicht when Isser Kuras, for them is, even there is a mikveh, for such a case, that's the second level. Echt bin ich
We need to get you a whiteboard to keep track of all the.
Okay. Yeah. The gaba.
So what's the mikveh falling under?
The what?
A woman's mikveh. What are some
In the mikveh now, as it is now, since we have a mikveh and people could go, I wouldn't say it's number 2. It's a number 2. It is very choshev, but it's not number 2. No. Okay, next.
Also, you know, for example, that given the trend in a year or two, it's not going to be enough. So in design, it's not going to be enough flats. So you have to build it now. It's the next
Fine. It's there a chusha tzedukah. It's a chusha. It's a kind of as you have a child who was valgenschims in the gas. It doesn't. We only everything what we said is tzedukah. Even to opening a third shul when there is place. Yeah, chaydish lishi. To giving money for a chaydish is not tzedukah. You give it for a shul. The only question is of the priorities. But about this tzedukah. Again, now remember the first thing what we said kroivim that goes on an individual. What he should give. When we talk about what kind of tzedukah, this goes on the Gabat tzedukah. Verstehst? The Gabat tzedukah hat nicht gescheichert kein kroivim. Kann nicht geben kroivim. And in the uni, in the individual can give whatever he wants.
When it comes to kroivim, do you need to wait them to ask you, or you have to be choiker the need?
You don't have to be choiker. No. The choiker maybe they need. No. If you know that they need, charity becomes at home. You have to. You don't have to go around asking. Everybody just gives tax returns. Okay. Next, a few halachas. We send a negaya for. And then we're going to go over to Hilchos Maaseh K'sufim. Okay, the first halacha is as we mentioned it last week again, and this I just wanted to go over again. A person which is in shul or he is in a place and as an oni who comes to you to ask for tzedukah, you don't have tzedukah. Steht in the friedige achroinam, the Karkas with andere of the Rambam. There's no chiyuv to borrow. There's no chiyuv to borrow. Again, the Chazon Ish has a whole suffolk. Maybe if you have at home, you should have to go home and bring. Aber bepasht is ugestalt nach Roinim im Mashma. I don't have money. Hast du nicht kann, bist der Puter von Gem Tzedukah. Schale is, you have a credit card, you can give you the credit card. Das kannst du sagen, als das heißt the Hausgeld. You fragt today's day, what? What do you say?
Credit card is not borrowing.
Not?
Borrowing. You borrow from them.
You borrow. It's a choy.
That's why you don't go to mikvah before tzedakah. You just give it. Otherwise, everyone knows you give it.
Okay. Noch a Sache. Jetzt azoi. We mentioned that basically that remember when you promise tzedukah, make sure you shouldn't go through. If the Gabat tzedukah asks you to pay it, shouldn't go through 3 months, 3 yomim tovim, because then it's the over of Baltacher. I'm sorry. Over Baltacher. Now, an interesting shala. 2-3 shala, this is Geschmack, this is the Geile Maße stark. Interesting shala. When I have a kippah tzedukah, I have a pishka in my home, always you have moisdes, Koile Chabad gives you a pishka, Beis Moshe gives you a pishka, all the, when I was a child, today's day you don't see that much. When I was a child, it's probably, a lot of you grew up with them. Every house had probably 30 pishkas. Yeah? All the moises, you used to have a person used to go around collecting the pishkas, and it made a lot of money, because some Erev Shabbos, the Nushim Tzedkunis used to give on every pishka a quarter or whatever it should be, and after a while, thousands of people give, it adds up a lot. Now the question is like this. The guy did not come around. No, he didn't come around. A year, 2, what should I do with the money? Can I give it for all the moises or no? They were koina. This tzedukah, and it's theirs. So there's a machloikas, and there's a machloikas of the shach and the nesivas, are interesting machloikas. There's a halacha, for instance, that when you go buy a keli, which you have toivel, going in the store, you pay money, you have the keli now. Now, or even before, let's go for it before. You have a keli, you didn't pay money. The guy tells you go toivel it. Should you toivel it like that? Can you toivel it like that or not? The answer is no, you shouldn't toivel it in such a case. Before kni. Why? Before kni, you cannot. Because it doesn't belong to you. Doesn't belong to you. And he doesn't have to toivel it. Are you going to say, the moicher, he owns the keile, so automatically he tells me to toivel it, I'm a shliach. No, but he doesn't have to toivel it either, because he's not going to use it. So if a person has a keile to sell, he doesn't have to toivel it. So what is the takazoi? The zach is, you don't toivel that keile. When you pay money, then you toivel it. But, first you have to pay. Then you should pay first, If you did it other ways, well, that's the way, the ideal way, and how crazy the stores know about it. They tell you, go ahead, pay, and then go toivel it. Now, the question is like this. Why when you pay, you toivel it? Because once you pay, and you pick it up, you're coin it. The question is, where are you standing when you pick up the keli?
In his store.
In his store. So there's a machloikas, achroinam, the shach, the nasivas, kaila shel lekayach, kaila, amoich sold something. Kailem shel lekayach bershis hamoichet, whom does it belong? Who does it belong? Or even, let's give it a better mush. Yeah? You come with your pot, and you go into a restaurant, and he says, fill it up with cholent. He puts it into your pot. Hast du koine gewein oder nicht koine gewein? It's your keli, but it is b'shiz hamoichet. Yeah? What is the halacha? Can you be koine a thing in your keli, but b'shiz hamoichet? Is a machloikes zwischen the shach, chosh mishpat simarai, shifkuten zayin, in the nesivas. The shach holds, yes, you can be koine. You could koine. So therefore, although you are standing in b'shiz hamoichet, after pekan, can't koine zayin. Of the? No, kinyonim goes in kinyonim, and hilchas kinyonim. Or if you cannot make a kinyan, which is like, it's nishka kinyan. The nesivas holds that the shach holds you're koina. Even if it's b'shis hamoicher, you're koina, and you cannot decide, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. The nesivas says no. As long as it is b'shis hamoicher, that means in the room of the moicher, you could still be choices, so it's not yours. So it's not yours. That's a famous machlokes shach and nesivas. This has ramifications on a lot of things. Has ramifications of tefillas kailem.
So the Nesivas said that you can't.
You can't.
Why? Because it's b'shus hamoich.
Because it's b'shus hamoich.
Darke a kinyan like in shich
Meret
Hagbo outside of the what's called?
Nein, Hagbo nicht. Ich red kein, ich lege es daran b'shus.
When you buy something, you're lifting it up.
Again, so that's why I gave you the second marshal. You put it into a pot.
Okay.
The game of gemacht de Zier. Is la masse kip zoek de receiver wat schkoine gewein in the shach zoek met ja koine gewein. Now you have a pushka. The pushka belongs for the moiser. The pushka they don't give you. Bes moishe give you a pushka, it belongs to Bes moishe. Koine Chabad give you a picture. Of course it's a loan.
They're giving it
to you alone.
It's
It's a keli which is theirs, and they give it to you. You should put it in over there tzedukah. So now the question is: you put in $1, you're in $10. Did you put it in Beis Moshe's pishka, and it belongs to Beis Moshe, or no? I put it in, and Beis Moshe hat nicht koine gewein, and therefore, so again, noch einmal, I have a pishka which is not mine. It's in my house. But it is their pishka. When I put in money, wäre es solche gewesen. If I will say that the pishka was solche the money, so then you cannot be choice that I want to give to someone else. That if you didn't give it, if it's they're not koine, I decide, okay, I don't want to give it. This is a machloikas of, again, as the shachan of the nasivas. It has ramifications of this nakida. Of this,
What's the halacha?
what?
What's the halacha?
Again, it's a machloikas. What
What would you do in your case if you have a push?
Zugen da achroine mazoi. Es ist tun in dem machloikas. So, man soll machmer sein, as das sich kennen nehmen. But that means if I put it in a pishka, in my machmer like it that you shouldn't take it, give it to someone else, because it's kazam zoich gewein. But if in a case which they don't come, it goes through. Or especially when you call them, we have a pishka full and nobody comes, and it's not a problem. Why? Because that's in for the yish.
After how long?
After a period of time. They used to come once a year. So it has to be at least a year or two. At least more than a year, because that's the seder to come a year.
It has an address, and you write a check. No.
This is nine. If they don't have the audacity to come, heißt es yish, so I could give it for a moiset which is in the same level of the tzedukah. Not all the other tzedukah. We should give it for Torah, you cannot give it for something else, but if it's the same level, guys around will give it for Nisiyashi, can I give it for andere Sachen.
Nowadays, when nobody comes.
What? Nowadays they don't give you a pishka. Nowadays they don't give you a pishka. What? They give out pishkas? So how do you call? You call them?
But they're giving out pushkins for Beis Moshe.
Anybody comes picking it up?
No,
Just scratch it out.
What?
Scratch it out.
They expect you should bring it back. Okay. Aber die mit
High expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
I put it in my own house, but my kavana is I'm using it for whatever. Does that help?
Oh, du hast sogar eine zweite Schale. Du, oi behalt, dass sie belangt für sei, oi behalt verlangt für sei, hast du verlangt mit sei Pischke. So therefore, in such a case, du ich mention, buy a Pischke in Judaica world, or by Kingston Judaica. Because then you can give her whatever you want. But if you give it in Yerim, the Koyle Chabad Pishka, it's a big suffix if you can take it out and give it to her. It's a tool in the Machloikas. Oi, but the Asistake belongs to Koyle Chabad, you go give, as to give for Koyle Chabad, you cannot. You know where it else, Kim Danaf Kimena, where it comes? It comes Danaf Kimena like this. I have, the Lochis Shechanorich is that you should not borrow money once you give tzedukah for a gaba tzedukah. You cannot change it. That means, if I have tzedukah ma'asar, I have to give it tzedukah. I want to give it for Shmuel Kasowitz. Okay? He's a gaba tzedukah, I want to give it for him. Walking to him, goes through a Yiddish kind, and he says, ich bin hungrig, ich kann nicht was essen. So, I give it for them, there's no problem. But if I give it for the tzedukah, I give it to the gaba tzedukah, is as if, as a young kim is gaba tzedukah, I cannot change it. I cannot tell it, you know what? I want you to give it for them. It's nicht dance. Once you give it for them, you have nothing what to say. This is Gaba Tzedukah. He has to do the So now, when you put it in a pishka, is it like giving the Gaba Tzedukah, you cannot change it, or you cannot borrow it, you cannot even borrow it. Luchas Shechanurig is mechanisch borgen von a tzedukah. So do it kimmer an a person wants to, he has a goiter which cleans the cleaning lady in the house, and whoops, I don't have cash. May I take out from the tzedukah, borrow money from the tzedukah, or not? Pashtas, wie steht in Shechanurig, mechanisch borgen von a tzedukah. Pashtas, mechanisch borgen von a tzedukah. Steigt nicht nur one tonight. One is that night. One is that when could you borrow it from the Gaba Tzedukah? When can the Gaba Tzedukah take money and borrow it? If there is a toiva for the oni. If there is a toiva for the oni, then can the garbage tzedukah, because the only, so to speak, agrees, and they are ready, basically the garbage tzedukah should give, because of Kesef, they gain something. So now, if you are borrowing from the Pishka, it will in the Machlokas. If you say that the Pishka belongs already for the tzedukah, is that the garbage tzedukah, you cannot take out money from that. Except if they, if they gain something. If, basically, it doesn't belong for tzedukah, it is tzedukah, but it doesn't belong for this moisad, then I can borrow it. And of them zogen das kumas achroinam, that the minig is that you are makel to borrow money, but now, if you right away, that you're putting in the pishka, I took $10, I owe $10, and they give it back whenever, as soon as possible. And the achroinim say it's kedai to put a sufa. Because you want to have to borrow it, some asufa, because then you have the eluch v'shechanor, even the garbage tzedukah could borrow it if there's a toiv for the oni. So since there is a shitta, according to the shach, for instance, once you gave it in the pishka, it belongs for the pishka, you cannot borrow it, it's garbage tzedukah, how could you borrow it? If you put it in a paper, what helps the paper? The teretz, if you give a drop more, so therefore, hamza anua. So that's the Aitza to do. If you need money from the Pishka, since we have a Machlokas.
It's not ribas.
No, giving tzedukah is not ribas. It's not a.
So you borrow and you're giving back.
No, in Cheb tzedukah. No. For per private is ein Sache, but in Koim tzedukah is a
difference if you put on the Pushka, this is the Rosh, so it doesn't matter.
No.
Makes no difference.
No, makes no difference. In his house. The guy turns over, Keter So, mine is I can put in when it happens, a person wants to lend, Shabbat Natzetla owed, and then you borrow $10, like see a quarter or whatever, it should be more. Hot Hamza Te'elas by borrowing because you're giving extra. What? Whatever, yeah. You don't borrow, you just exchange it. There's no problem.
What about people that instead of bringing back a push of coins, they calculate it and they send you the Zell done. They don't
does it cost for the tzedukah? No problem. When it costs for tzedukah, this is, by the way, if you brought it up, I'll just finish. I had the shaila a lot of times. Same goes in the machloikas. The same machloikas of the shach in the. For instance, I put in koile chabat tzedukah, I put in $300. From Meshach Diur, I want to send it. Now I give it a credit card in the pushka. Now I'm giving the credit card. Now they take off 3% from koile chabat. Yeah. Cost. So now, you, what did you do? You're starting like $300 in tzedukah, and you're giving it, they get less. Now, a guy comes to me, and he asks me for a donation. And he gave me the credit card, that's, in which trades it, that's how it works. So when I give $180, although the only got 175, in Maser, I gave 180. In Hilchas Tzedukah, in Hilchas Chesh Maser, in Hilchas Tzedukah, I gave 180. Now, the Moisad has to pay in order to, and they're ready to pay, because they want to, it's easier to get money. Easier to raise. People get more money. But for instance, if I have $300 and I gave it for the Moisad, through the Pishka, now, if you're giving them $295, you gave them $5 less.
$5 disappeared.
$5 disappeared, and it's your chai.
If they agreed on the credit card.
One second. If
the Soicha agreed on the credit card.
Exactly. So if that's the nine, that basically I'm going to send it as something else. But if no, I put it in already in the Pishka $300. Now I want to send in for them. So I want to take the $300 cash, putting it in my master envelope, and give you my credit card. So now the moise, I'm $300, you give him them only $295. According to the receivers, not a problem.
Well, who's supposed to come pick up the money? Is the moise supposed to come pick it up?
This was the nine. Pashas is Ibik, the minig is that the moise used to go around and pick it up.
Used to be, but today they give you a push.
So now,
so if you agree that I'm not, so if dus is taking geworden as today's day, they're not picking up, you have to send it in. Then doesn't go the halacha for you, which you answered before, that Nisyashi didn't come because they don't come. That's the way how business is doing.
If they do a Zelle cash out, they don't take a percent. So
There's no problem.
Saving them if you have to credit card to get it.
The what? One at a time. By
giving them a credit card, you're saving them the expense to come and pick it up.
Okay.
You have to add the $5 before your credit card.
Dus wat die getracht. But
handling fee. If you're a business, the bank will not take the coins from you or the money from you for free. They charge you a percent. They charge you a fee.
a what?
If you have $100 of pennies,
Yeah.
they're going to charge you a fee.
Yeah.
To take it. If you're a commercial, me and you,
A
we
commercial.
don't charge.
Ah.
We have a few pennies. They do it for you for free. Every time they cash a check, it charges. I mean, depending on how big,
Corporate
percentage. It's its whole thing. They write the payment process. Not just the credit card, but even the bank charges them money. So to have a person come and pick it up and
Okay.
it's me. The credit card is more, but it's not being annoying.
Okay.
There's also many times they'd rather do that. You send them the $1 now, and then next month we'll have a dust, and you'll get it, and you'll come, we'll pick it up.
Okay. You know, the machloek is not the nice visit rankiman. I put in Koile Chabad, yeah, money. I have $100 over here, $100 in the Pishka. Now, Koile Chabad has a raffle. A house in Tzfas. It costs $100. May I take the money from Koile Chabad, Pishka, and give it and buy the raffle? According to the raffle. A goyrel. Yeah. According to the Shach, can't nicht. You gave it for tzedukah. You can't take money from Koile Chabad and buy a raffle. It's their money. It's in the Pishka. According to the Nesivas, yeah. That's something to going. So therefore, then that's something else. Then you cannot do it. But over there, in such a case, one second. In such a case, I say that a person knows that every year Koile Chabad has a $100 raffle for tzfas, and you have kavona that every time you put in $1 in Koile Chabad's pishka every week, you have kavona, it goes towards the raffle. That means basically you gave it like a in order to buy the raffle, doesn't make. But once you gave it, you decided, now there's a raffle, I want to take that money. Cancel it.
According to the shop, once he goes into the pushka, no matter what you had in mind, it's
Nein.
because it's their raffle.
Ja, es ist nicht nur gesagt, ich habe Sinn, ich will es nicht, ich will es nicht schmackner sein. Hab ich gewohnt, ich will nicht schmackner sein, ist dem, aber ich geschall.
So you're putting it aside from that fund?
I put it for that fund, for that fund. So that means, ich gebe es für Koile Chabad, but it should go towards the raffle. Such a case. Als noch, ich suche noch, das als der Geil, Aluch la Masse, which is Charles as mentioned ask. And again, a lot of this, which I bring down, because I had the Shilas. But mine, oops. It's alles to the Machloek, zwischen the Siv and the Shach. And therefore, in the Geimar Eibig Lechimra, but in the Mamachmer, so you're going out of the like Gabba Borgen, Streit Pischitschiva brings down, that's Kili left Bezden Mafna, as you should be able to borrow. So it's a bit more lachter. Skili given out nine, like Trilla, Gabas for the Gabba Zuk, boy. So Abrakabur, we always could drop more.
In giving tzedakah,
no.
Is there a preference with giving like money? Whether it's cash in the bank or debit card, or giving with a credit card?
Of course, because if you give cash, that's the best thing for the moises. It doesn't cost any.
It's not you cover the fees.
So then was what?
You give a credit card, you're not giving your money, you're giving the bank's money.
No, I'm giving my money. I lend money, the bank lends me money, and I give my money. As you borrow $10, I give for tzedukah, but can we mix tzedukah?
I just asked if there's a preference in giving
The dollar bill says it's a debt of the government.
Yeah, ochet. Yeah.
If a guy got money, and it's for the funds, how could he borrow it?
No, only if the fund, the onion gains something. But no.
No, he's driving and he needs to pay for gas.
Nochmal, das ist der heilig von der expenses, was der Gabbat Tzedukah darf ausgelangen. All the expenses, a Gabbat Tzedukah has expenses. A Moises who has expenses in order to fundraise, that's all Tzedukah, and he can do it. A Moises in order to fundraise $100,000 has to pay $40,000. Is the $40,000 the heilig von Tzedukah? What you can spend? That's a part of. Now there's a question which last week 2 people asked, and I want to address it. The question is, we said you have to give for Oni, to give for Oni, what is, do I need to give for the same money twice. For instance, a guy goes around to shul, happens to be when I walked in shul, he came in and asked me, I gave money. Now I went to my place, wherever I sit, and he goes around all shul, and he comes to me again. Do I need to give again the Shenge gave? The same question is, which a guy asked me this week, I'm going to 770, yeah? I'm going to 770, there's women over there sitting. I give them tzedukah. Yeah, what is, when I'm coming out, do I need to give again tzedukah?
In and out.
Huh? In and out. Okay, so is that today's Achronim address this Shale, and the answer is, if nothing changed from the first time he gave till the second time he gave, this time there's no chivki. That poor guy who came over to me before davening because I was just walking into shul, and I gave him, and when he comes to my place, nothing changed from here. The only thing that changed, he got a pocket, got a building ticket. That's right. That lady, the matzav of the changed. The matzav of the uni didn't change. If it happened, stuck at that ping, she was sitting over there in front of 770, and something fell on her, and the shoe broke. Oh, that's something else. Now she needs more money. But if sin is gut getauscht jetzt von der Matthias für
dem sitting outside the cup for 2 hours. Yeah.
You don't have to give the second time. It's a show of Kanasir. Mach gegeben. Noch einmal am Mitzvah bist du Makaim, there's no question. Vergiss, alle Sachen, was gesagt, man misst nicht, is in, aber am Mitzvah Makaim, and don't forget another thing. Don't forget what we learned this week. Sof Simon, yes, coach Sof Simon Yid. I'll try about the whole leather, as even though we put it, ein Yisrael Nongulam Eile, B'tzduka, even if they're not machiv with the potter, because why? How do we see it? Because the gula is going to come only when they're going to give tzedukah. And the gula is going to come only kashich lepritim in a case. There won't be any money. The inflation will be so high, people won't have any money. So how could the gula come when tzedukah? Because if you don't have pritim in a case, you're potter when tzedukah. So the Alter Rebbe, if you do that, man, as the gula that came off and gave tzedukah, dafka when it's mechiv. So again, even you have all the attire and all the things which you mentioned last week when you potter, but al kaponam, ein Yisroel negun eile b'tshiva, eile b'tzduka. One final thing in this, two small things. One thing is the Machna Ephraim learns from the Rashba that if there's a table over here, Chassan table, 10 people sitting around the table, and a poor person came over to one guy, yeah, and he asked for tzedukah, and his phone started clicking, so he went away. So, ich kann nicht gehoiv jetzt noch zu laufen zu geben Geld. Weil mich nicht gebeten. Wenn mich gebeten, ist du einen, das soll ihn geben. Hat mich gebeten. But if he asked, the question is, if there's a group of a couple of people, he asked only one, are all of them a chiyuv? Or no, only the guy who asked? Das is so this is Machna Ephraim saying, only the guy who asked, other guys are nicht bechiyuv. But other Achronim argue with it and said that since he came over to this table, everywhere is mechiv. So again, the final look is we all know that the Rizal says that you shouldn't give tzedukah balaylu at night. If a oni comes and asks you at night, that's not included. Das meint es nicht. Giving tzedukah, going to a pishke, putting your money, going into giving, you want to give a donation, give it tomorrow morning, don't give it at night. Yeah, that's a Pia Rizal. Zmandinam, you don't give. But if somebody asks you, hast du Chauf zu geben? Kannst du schon über Leila. You know, hast du Chauf zu geben? Es ist nicht kein Heter für nicht zu geben. And we all know the famous story with the Rebbe, yeah? The Rebbe went into the Friediger Rebbe and said, I became an Absak von Ayid. I gave tzedukah Balaylo at night. And somebody says, you give tzedukah by Nacht? But the Friediger Rebbe said to the Rebbe, that guy must probably don't give tzedukah during the day either. You know? Okay. What?
Wrote about it, or by Moshe Shabbos, just said.
By Moshe Shabbos, the Rebbe Rashab. Yeah, great.
There, if you want to pay him, give him one way, like you want to give him cash out.
No.
He only, he doesn't pay cash out. So, can I tell him either you accept cash out or go away?
And you have money? If you have money, what's the heter, you know?
Reach in your pocket.
A guy comes to you, doesn't have the machine which is popular today's day. Once upon used to go and do the ksaf from a rov. Today's day nobody goes with a ksav. Credit card machine. You know. What?
Let's say I'm saying you don't have.
You don't have money. Do some free gered.
Or if you use a different, or if you prefer just, let's say he wants Zelle and you want Cash App or a check or a credit card.
No, stop it here.
No, it's not.
You done matter already?
Yeah.
Huh?
I don't really.
So we can start basket Moshe. Wait another week because I'm afraid next week is going to be a
9:12.
It's 9:12. Yeah, we have 50 minutes. Okay. So this is more or less Hilchas Tzedukah. Again, it's 11:12 Simonim. I mentioned. I made a kitzer, but at least we should have the idea of what's going on. Now let's go to the next step. Ma'aseh K'sufim. Giving a ma'aser from your money. There's a big machloikes in the poskim. If Ma'aseh K'sufim, what is the chiyuv? So we have 3 dargas. Machloikes of poskim from the Rishonim habt sich. Some poskim will say it's a chiyuv midoraisa. Chiyuv mitzvahs esed daraisa to make a cheshbon. Ma'aseh K'sufim, how much money did you make? Give 10%. Chiyuv min ha'toyre. From where this is the Shara Fraim and his Shiva brings it down and elaborates on it, and he brings a Sefri. The Sefri says like this: a Sefri, Toisus im Sechtes Tanas, we learned Tanas. Toisus im Sechtes Tanas im Daftes Umad Alef, die Vermasla Asar, brings a Sefri. The Sefri says like this: Asar ta Asar, Eis kol Tvias Zarechu, Hayoyitz Asu de Shu de Shuna. Zug the Sefri. Ainly ele Tvia Zarechu. Tvia Zarechu meint from the field. Shechai b'maser. Ribis, if you make money for ribis from a goy kemivin, but you did the chosem. Ipakamatya, you sold items, you sold goods. V'chol shar revucham, all other income which you made, manayin that you have to give. Ochet baser. Dem Talmud lo yemer, sheshtayt pusik asat aser eskol. Eskol means all of them. This is a toys. The toys brings down a free. Kimt of them asach achroinim metanon. Says achir derais. Achir derais to have master. Mom shigat of tzedukah. So good chok achir. So shtigay, but the same answer for tzedukah you have over here. Okay. That's one shitta. The second shitta is that it is only a drabuna. That's pashas shitta satir zuov. Chiva me have in the Rambam is so mashma pashtas. In some of the kapusig as free, which is tied asas called me zarechu as call means all other revucham. Zogen the achroina, it's only a smachta. So the Rabbanon dig it in, mechim the Rabbanon, but the Rabbanon always when they found a posig and they put it on the posig, but it's not the Reise says the Reise, and it's only a chiv with the Rabbanon. Then we have a third shitta, which says it's not a chiv d'rabbanan also not, it's only minik toif. It's a minik toif, which by the way, in the Loshna Shulchan Aruch is mashma zoy. Remember we spoke, when we started last week the shir, we mentioned, statt dort mitzvah min ha-mifcher, the Mechaber hat es dort nun. So dort mitzvah min ha-mifcher is to give choymesh, and mit the beinenes is to give maser. Mit der Beinernis. Ob es ist a Choyv mit der Rabbanan, there's no mit der Beinernis. It says, you have to give it. It's from them, kiemen arov asach, posken zal as no minik toiv, and it's interesting, the Maram Merokmek, eine von der Rishonim, der Rebbe von der Rosh, the famous Maram Merokmek, he holds as nor a minik ba'alma. He's not a minik ba'alma. It's not a chiyuv, not even the kabiv nishkan reise, not even a chiyuv der Rabbanan, it's only a minik toiv, was sie du, aber es ist nicht kachir. Some poskim want to say that even the Rambam Barambag, which said that it's only a minik toiv, it's not a chiyuv, says that Avada is taught giving Ma'aseh K'sufim is a deraisa. But to give it for Aniyam, that's a minik toiv. As we're going to see if you could give it for aniyam, you can give it for other things. Is in the achronim again tzarich is over the noisa. So they want to say even the Maram Rotmik, which said it's only minik b'alma, does not mean the whole concept, the whole inyan of Masik Sifim is only a minik toif. He also wants a sachir. Maybe I don't know if Adrais, but Akmunum, the focus of the Rabbanon. To give it only for the name, that's only minik toif. So again, we have 3 poskim which hold that basically, if it's a chiv Adrais of the Rabbanon. Rava poskim agree that it's not minatoire for sure, not. It's only midrabanan. The Bach wants to say la lucha. It's not even a chiyuv, even the drabanan. It's only a minik toif. He passes only minik toif, and there's a lot of poskim which go according to this. Most of the poskim again will say it's a chiyuv drabanan, but some poskim will say it is only a minik toif. It's not a chiyuv midaraisa. Then why I'm stressing this? It's not in a chiyuv midrabanan because we're going to see. How we play around, we're going to see that once it's a deraisa, for sure it's a problem. Even if it's a drabona, so therefore, a lot of places want to say it's only minik toif. So minik toif is makabel gemein, but the kabul is not minik toif. But again, most of the places will say it's a midrabona. It's interesting to quote a lotion which I found in Chelkes Yankov. It was a Polish from the Poiskim. He writes, "Be'eretz Polanie by us in Polen, me'atim." There's a tiny amount of people which are nizar in giving Masik Sifim. Aber bei Ashkenaz, in Germany, the Orthodox people, the Frimme people, there are much more people who are nizar in Masik Sifim. So we see, Kaponam, as in Poland, it wasn't that common to give Masik Sifim. And in other places here, I think personally, that is such a thing with Poland. That happens to be Poland was a very poor country. As we're going to see, people who don't have ends meet is nicht pushen that Bechal gave Maser. So in Poland, hat man ungenehm, man darf nicht geben Maser because they don't have ends meet. Only a tiny amount of people had money. So they're tiny people. In Germany, the people were wealthy. Most of the people had good jobs, doctors or lawyers. In Germany, academic, what? Industry and also, businessman. So they have more persons. So this is my gut feeling, which I feel. But I just want to bring down, you see, that's nicht a Sache, was Kili, most of the Sache is. So again, we have 3 shittas. The meaning is rule is that you give Masik Sifim. Is it a chiyuv? Is it a meaning? But that's the meaning. Okay. The chiyuv choymer shada maser. What is it? It goes the first year, you give the kern. That means then you take this money, you invest it. Now you don't have to give any maser, only on what you make, only on the raivich, because we're going to see soon that only on the raivich you give maser. You don't give from the kern. That means for instance, if you get if somebody, your father gives you after the chasana, $20,000, go start a business. So this $20,000 you have to maser. Because you got $20,000. But once you took the $20,000 and you invested in a business, and now your income is $5,000 a year, you only have profit. You only give on the $5,000 from the income. You don't give any more of the kern because the kern was already massive. The same thing will go like this: a person, for instance, has a house. Has a house, has a business, has a house, he takes income, He bought a house right next to his house, has a business, he pays mortgage, So, even the interest is deductible. But the principle, basically, you have to give maser. The principle, If you pay every month $1,000 for your mortgage, for instance, Now, from the $1,000 is, let's say, $700 is ribas, is interest, and $300 is principal. And after 30 years, you pay off. Now, for the $700, every year you make calculations, you deduct it. It's expense. You pay. But the $300 you get, because the end of the game, you have a house. You have a house of $200,000. So, that you have to master. Help me, Rav Osner, they asked him personally. Rav Osner, you could wait for master. Rav Osner, he said, you could wait till you finish the whole mortgage, you finish the whole loan, then basically the house is a clean house which is yours, then you should give Maser on that. Till then, you don't have to give Maser. You make the cheshbonos. That means if you put in now $20,000 down payment, and once you're going to pay up the whole house, you have a house of $200,000, so you made $140,000. $140,000 Maser. But we're going to get all the sticks next week, Mitchum. All the things. We're going to get all the sticks. So again, whatever you make, you have to.
You didn't make it.
You did make it.
You didn't sell the house.
Every you did. You're right that you didn't sell it. That you didn't make it. If you have, for instance, if I get a present, a car, yeah. As we're going to see soon, presents next week, Mitchem. Presents you don't give masa because you got an item. But what is if you sell the car? Then you have to give masa from the no. But as long, whatever, as much as you sold it. Yeah, as long as you, whatever, if you might. I'm giving a much, don't, give me with technical Sachen. You know, you make, it happens to be that you did make money. You know, happens to be it was COVID and all the cars went up the price, and now a car which you pay $20,000, you can sell for 40. A used car, yeah, as you know. I have a 2013 Sienna. Every day they call me, they want it back. So I'm talking about the Sienna, and I'm talking about Mercedes.
Not my car.
Okay. So then you're right. But over here, every month you're getting money. Not in a house, but some. What ich gedacht zoeken, dat jedes Jahr machen a cheshbon of this, because every month when you take out $1,000 from the bank account to pay the mortgage, you are taking $300 for yourself, which you are paying off what you bought. Of them Ramos do a killer, which is a killer, and I keep on saying it for people. Wait till you pay it off. But once you pay it off, you have to.
Take a new mortgage to pay the Meister.
I had such a thing. I had a commercial building, which became from Mantata. I should be able to learn. But once the mortgage was paid off, I gemacht a cheshbon. How much was it? And how much was? And I verschrieben. Yeah, but the interest is expense. You don't gain, but the $300 principal you gain every week, every month, which you pay $1,000 is $300 principal. You taking out from the business $300. You're taking it to pay off the principal. Fine, I'll be taking it out. Wait till you pay it off. Some people will say it's much easier to pay it right away than the end game to paying master.
You sell a house. You bought it for $200 and you sell it for $350.
Fine. So $150,000 has to be master.
But what about all the taxes and interest that you pay?
What do you think? This you deducted the whole time.
No, you didn't pay. You put down $200,000 when you bought it. You took a loan.
Yeah.
Fine. You're paying interest, but you're getting an income every month. You have income.
No. You sell a personal house.
On what?
You're living there.
Yeah.
The value.
Yeah. That's something else. You don't have income. That's something else. Then you make a cheshbon at the end of the time. How much was expenses? How much? And if you didn't make money, then you don't have to pay. But if you have a house which you purchased in order to have income, every time you get rent, you got rent $2,000 rent. You don't give $2,000 master $200. Why? Because you have expenses. What do you calculate in expenses? The interest. So you took it off already from the master. You cannot take it off twice.
I said profit on a real estate or profit on anything. Said how do you calculate that?
All the expenses you're going to deduct. We're going to get to that. Everything you're going to get. We're going to get to that. We're going to get. This is the Gita Lucha. The master is heavy Geschmack Lucha. There's a lot of good stuff over here.
The value of the house goes up just because of time and your neighborhood and that. Just the values went up. We didn't do anything.
Yeah, okay.
Because of time and inflation and whatever, your house is worth more than it was before.
Yeah, but if I don't sell it, you don't have to. If you don't sell it, you don't sell it. If I bought a car and
when I refinance,
you refinance, yeah. And so my mind came to us, if you refinance in the middle of having the loan, you have to make a cheshbon. Because the Rebbe says, wait 30 years till you pay it off, and then you make a cheshbon. But if you're never going to pay it off, the business people constantly roll it over. Okay, I think we'll stop here. We're going to get into the, and they say again, next week is going to be every halacha is going to be in a gaya lamaisa,